And we are live with Spot Dodge, a live Nintendo podcast, now in its brand new home on Destructoid. This is really exciting. We're streaming over on the YouTube, over on the Twitch, and I got an awesome cast of people with me. I'm excited to introduce you guys and myself. I'm Brett Medlock, head of video over here at Destructoid.com. Really excited to talk about Nintendo, probably a lot of other stuff as well, because we are all not just obviously playing on Nintendo consoles. Tons of stuff to talk about in the gaming industry, but this will be a Nintendo focused podcast. And yeah, I'm going to jump right into it. Greg Vargas is with me. He is a writer over at PC Invasion. How you doing, Greg?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Did you say we're also live on MySpace? I'm
yeah,
trying
we're
to find
also
it on
MySpace.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I don't see it.
And with him to his actually above him is Mary Stowe, social media manager at Destructoid.com. Thank you for coming on, Mary. This was like a last second addition. I'm really happy to have you as a main cast member. This is really awesome.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and if the viewers didn't know, me and Mary just launched a brand new show over on freaking Snapchat. Nobody expected that. Nope. Snapchat has some content over there, and I think our show is really fun. We do a lot of jokes, a lot of ranting, and a lot of toilet humor, but it's fun. And great. Then right below, actually no, not all the way down at the bottom of the list, of course, is
last but not least,
John Friscia, writer over at Escapist, or The Escapist, and a fellow
managing editor. Let's not cut me short. Yes, thank you.
Senior editor, right? I don't know what you
managing
are
editor.
Anymore. Managing editor.
CEO
of Facebook.
Father of us all, John Friscia. How you doing, John?
Hey.
I am just happy to be here with you all.
I'm happy too. This is really exciting. There's not that much to go over, unfortunately, in the first episode. It's been pretty quiet with Nintendo news. I saw some rumors about a Switch Pro, but I mean, when isn't that happening? So
yeah.
Probably just going to ignore that for now and jump right into topic number one. Actually, first off, let me just explain the layout of the show. We're going to go into all the biggest Nintendo news that we care about at the beginning of the show. And then the second half of the show, we're going to talk about the games we're playing. And that might be on a Nintendo console, might be on only PlayStation. We're just going to talk about the games we like, the games we're playing, or the games we hate. So
I hate them all. I don't like video games. Why am I here?
That's what I was wondering. Who invited you?
My dad did. Thanks, John.
John.
CEO
Anytime,
dad.
bud.
So yeah, guys. So everyone saw Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. These are two big, I mean, obviously, some of the biggest games in the world coming out later this year. All they have right now for us is late 2022. I'm looking forward to them, but I got to say, I didn't expect another mainline announcement this soon. And
yeah,
once again, it just makes me wish maybe delay it, make it look a little better, add to it a little more. But I mean, it's going to be Pokemon, and I just don't think it looks as good as it should necessarily. But Arceus didn't look as good as it should either, and I loved Arceus. Mary, what do you think of Pokemon?
I'm very surprised that they're looking at like later this year. I was like, okay, that's isn't there a lot coming out later this year? They're going to stack that many releases on top of each other, but
yeah,
it definitely looks like early footage. I'm hoping that they'll like do a little bit of polish, maybe give us like another look later on, maybe in the summertime, where it looks a little cleaner, a little smoother. The starters though are all very cute.
Oh yeah, especially that kitty cat.
Yes.
The weed cat.
The weed cat, yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna get my hopes up that the graphics are gonna get significantly better, because I remember people said the same thing about Sun and Moon. Or no, not Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield. When those games got revealed, everyone was making fun of the tree, and everyone was saying, no, it's not finished. It's gonna look better by the time it comes out. And lo and behold, that damn ugly tree ended up being in the final game like 8 months later. They just didn't update it at all.
Nope.
So yeah, Greg, first thoughts. I know you're not a Pokemon guy, but what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, just like observation wise, I too was kind of surprised that they were going to hit it again with Pokemon this year. I feel like Nintendo, after that shareholders meeting, I felt like they had a lot of stuff that we're anticipating into late 2020 or 2022. So I'm wondering if this is like a sign of something else that's getting pushed back, or if they're gonna. I don't know. I'm just curious as to why they would push to release another mainline Pokemon game this year. But yeah, my thoughts are with you on that one. A lot of the edges in it literally looks rough around the edges, and
Literally.
I think and that's probably speaking to the power or lack of power of the Switch for things like anti-aliasing. Um, but I did also see some frame rate drops in the trailer, like when they go to that square and they're like, the camera kind of sweeps over the different elements and stuff and the different Pokemon types. But I don't know. At the same time, it really looks interesting to see, more open world type entries into the Pokemon series. And so honestly, I'm happy for fans because this seems like something that they've been wanting for a long time. And so if this is going to be the new trend of Pokemon games, yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'm hoping that because I really liked Arceus, like despite being like one of the ugliest modern day games. I thought the brand new structure of that game was amazing, and I'm hoping that this game sort of melds the two together in terms of a traditional game where you're like going against gym leaders and fighting them, but then you're also doing other stuff that Arceus was doing, where you're out in this open world, you're exploring, you're trying to catch specific Pokemon for whatever reasons. So yeah, John, I know you're also not a Pokemon guy, but what do you think? How do you think it looks for the Pokemon fans out there?
I mean, I do think it looks kind of like a so-so PlayStation 3 game visually.
Mm.
um,
Arguably
well, so
GameCube.
yeah, well, so
This is
I
Spot Dodge, a Nintendo podcast.
right? So no, this isn't like me joking. This was genuinely one of my first impressions. When I saw that trailer, what I thought was, oh, well, now I understand why Pokemon Sword and Shield and Arceus all look the way they do. Like they're purposely like deprioritizing graphics in order to crank these games out faster. That has to
Yeah.
be the case because Arceus released l- in January. Like in January, there won't even
Mhm.
be a year between that game and this brand new one. And
That's insane. Like,
the remakes of Pearl and Diamond, yeah, Diamond, like
yeah, that was a
that was a
different
few months
studio,
before.
but
Yeah, that's
still,
true. Right. No, that's a fair point. It is. But like nonetheless, when it comes to Pokemon saturation, I don't think we've ever had this much saturation of the franchise before, right? Of at least as far as like major titles, right?
yeah, I wouldn't say, yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
if you look back at the list, they actually used to like, I would say a
Well, what
little bit
about when
before the 3DS generation, they would take like a year or two breaks between games.
what
Yeah.
about when
And
Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee? Didn't something else also release not too long after that?
Well,
hmm,
Sword and Shield, I
I
guess.
think that was like a year or two later, right? A year later.
Was it about a year, I
Could
think?
have been a year. Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
imagine it
Yeah,
was
it
much
was a year.
longer than that. Yeah. But like still, this is three really big
Three
games
big games
within
in
a
the
year.
span of like,
Yeah,
yeah, within the span of like 13 months.
Yeah, that's really wild. So like
and it,
I just I can't imagine a scenario where these hideous graphics aren't a specific business decision now.
We're just
Like
destroying
tell
this
me how
game.
you feel.
yeah. Also,
Dude,
Shigeru Miyamoto looks like a dog.
dude, I
I
saw
just don't know how they're doing it with such a small team. They
yeah,
have
oh
such a
my
small
god.
team.
Greg, you can't bring back classic jokes for a brand new audience. No one knows what you're talking about.
Well, why don't you tell them? Because
Okay,
I
yeah.
feel like,
So
I feel like they're getting a pass when they shouldn't be getting a pass. Because at what
I
point
don't
do you
yeah.
say that this is, these like graphics at some point, regardless of gameplay, still have to catch up to the gameplay. You
In
can't
some
keep.
way, like they are stylizing the graphics, which is good. Imagine if they were aiming for realism and then these were the graphics. Like that would be just absolutely insane. But they are stylizing them, but they're not doing a very great job at making them look visually pleasing to the eye.
Mm.
Like there are moments in Arceus where I was like, okay, yeah, like the sun's hitting right, it's beaming, some textures around me look fine, the grass is waving in the wind, and I was like, okay, this looks great. I wish the whole game looked like this. But there are so many ugly spots of Arceus as well, and they are very jarring. Like they legitimately look like early GameCube or maybe even like N64 textures in some
Ouch.
spots. Um,
Like, imagine if
and
people said that about Horizon Forbidden West.
Mm.
If they said the gameplay's great, but it's ugly. Like if you called that game ugly, I feel like that would, and like I was saying, that Pokemon gets a pass just because it's Pokemon.
I mean, imagine if that's graphically. Like I feel like it would just get trashed.
Like off the top of my head, I think Pokemon at this point, it has to be literally the ugliest AAA game, like by default. Like
we're just absolutely destroying the game right now.
No,
but it's funny
I'm not even
because
saying this in like a hostile way, because again, like I'm not even engaged with like this particular fan base. Like as far as I'm concerned, Pokemon fans can love this to the end of time. It's no skin off my nose. Like by all means, go love it.
Yeah.
What,
Eric?
Yeah, we can hear you, Eric. What's going on?
Okay.
Did we lose you?
Oh,
we lost Eric, the guy who is.
We're all dead.
Okay.
Eric has put us on standby, folks.
Yeah. I guess on standby we can just keep talking because then maybe when it. What's happened exactly, Eric? Are we offline? Can people hear you talking, or do they just think we're talking to like? Okay, I was about to say. Okay, so we're good.
All right, I think we're back in business here.
Hopefully, it's all one video still on YouTube.
Yes. Well, howdy.
Anyway, in conclusion, Pokemon is hideous, and that is okay.
The thing that's strange though is I've saw like right after the game got revealed, I saw people posting on Twitter like, "See, I told you the graphics were going to get better over time," and I'm like, "What? Are you looking at something different?" For me, aside from that one shot that shows the house that's like really detailed and the grass looks nice, it all looks pretty bad, right? Like, am I crazy? Yeah. And the resolution looks really low. The frame rate looks like it's 25.
It just looks like early. Yeah, it looks a little unfinished. It looks like early footage, but I like how Pokemon fans specifically, they either wake up and they're hyped and they're ready to go and they love the game, or they wake up and they hate everything. Like there's no in between with Pokemon fans.
No.
Did you say Pokemon or Nintendo fans?
Oh,
either one.
Both.
As one, I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. With your Kirby shirt on.
Yeah, we all love Nintendo here.
You gosh damn right.
Yeah, definitely. So we're all, obviously we all love Nintendo, but I don't think they shouldn't be criticized. And this isn't necessarily Nintendo. It kind of is. It's Game Freak. But still, they are allowing this. Like, I need to reiterate. Sorry, my cat moved my computer. This is the biggest entertainment property ever. Like on planet Earth, the biggest ever. I just made a skit about this over on Snapchat. It goes up next week. But the Pokemon series has grossed more than the 007 franchise, the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, and Harry Potter combined. All of them combined. The entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, Pokemon is bigger, and this is the best we get. These graphics.
So
I mean,
who do you think is pushing Game Freak to publish these games and get them out the door? Do you think it's Game Freak, or do you think it's Nintendo holding their booty to the flame?
Probably the Pokemon Company and Game Freak.
Yeah. I can't see Nintendo doing something like that. Like,
yeah, I mean, look at Bayonetta 3.
Exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say this is the company that has no problem delaying anything for years in order to get a good game made. Like, look at Metroid Prime 4.
I was gonna say
that game will release at heat death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely don't think it's Nintendo. I think they just know that. I mean, it's gonna sell amazing. Like, it's going to do huge numbers no matter what. It seems like they're like thinking, how far can we go? How ugly can we make it before we ever see a dip in sales? And I don't think they're ever gonna see a dip. So I don't think Pokemon Let's Go had the greatest visual style since the Switch came out. And that was the very first Pokemon game. And it hasn't really been matched ever since. Like, obviously, some people cannot like that artistic style, which I understand. But in terms of textures and just pleasing to the eye, I think that one still looks the best of them all.
It's just crazy to me that, this is only one facet of the Pokemon Company's book of business. They still have cards. They still have apparel, plushies, like you name
Pokemon
it. Anything else
anime,
out there? Yeah.
The movies,
the
live
anime,
action movies.
Mm-hmm.
They probably don't even care at this point. They're just, yeah, just sell
Just sell it.
it.
What
Send it.
colors? A violet, peach, scarlet. Yeah, that's good.
Peach. Pokemon Peach.
Pokemon Peach and Pokemon Pear. There we go.
That sounds nice.
Hey.
Pokemon
Pitch it.
Peach Pear.
Pokemon Durian.
Okay. Any other Pokemon chats you guys want to do? Any final rants? I'm sure I could think of a few, but I also do want to reiterate. I've really liked Pokemon Arceus, and I enjoyed Pokemon Sword and Shield for what it was. I didn't love it, but it was entertaining, and I completed it. But Arceus was amazing. I'm actually looking forward to this one because I'm hoping it borrows elements from Arceus, because that should be what the mainline games are like, in my opinion. Mary, any final words on Pokemon?
I'm very excited for Grass Cat. That's my motivation.
Spigarito or whatever his name is.
Yes, Sprigatito. It's so
Sprigatito.
cute.
What's his name?
Sprigatito, I think.
Yeah,
is how you say it.
Sprigatito.
Sprigatito.
Spaghettio?
Yeah.
I think I'm Team Crocodile so far, the fire dude.
Of
Oh,
like
yeah.
Coco.
I like them all actually. Like, yeah, like this is a rare case where like they're all winners.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, next up on the list, you guys want to talk about Kirby, which comes out later this year. Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Later this month. I think I said later this year.
They're both true.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring this game up a little bit just to talk about it. Like, there's nothing new or significant that happened with it, but I feel like a lot of people might be overlooking it. I wanted to shout it out because I think this game looks really good. It looks like a huge step up over previous Kirby games. And yeah, I'm just excited. How about you? How about you guys? Where's your hype level? Anyone? John, Greg, Mary.
I have
17
my
out of
eye
10.
on it. I mean,
Like, the thing is, Kirby for me falls into that category of, yeah, it looks really good, but I'm not gonna buy it over other things I want to play because time is limited.
This
You
looks like
know?
a short and sweet game though. Like, this isn't gonna take
Yeah.
much time.
Well, then that's less incentive to spend $60 as well.
That's true. Hey,
I'm the
it's about
contrarian.
experience.
I did pre-order it though.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
okay.
Yeah.
Because of a
so I'm
physical
dedicated. I'm
plushie or
in.
something.
Pins. I think it was
Pins, I
pins.
knew
I forget what it was. Whatever GameStop had for their pre-order exclusive on it.
Nice.
Yes, I always like the physical like bonus stuff, but I'm just a digital guy, so I always just choose to download. But man, look at all these
Oh, yeah.
environments, these settings. There's just so many. There's so much diversity in the levels that I've seen.
Yeah.
For audio listeners, there's a video playing right now.
Use your imagination. It'll look pretty.
Mouthful mode. What a name for a mode! I tell you what.
Yeah,
That's
buddy.
hilarious.
They could have gone with anything, and that's what they went with.
For real. This year, Kirby's gonna give you a mouthful. Anyway,
They're really appealing to the Vor audience.
the what?
It's good.
I don't even want to know.
Different podcast.
I don't want to know.
Is that from your kink cast?
No,
Yes.
no. I'm glad I can honestly say no.
when John's the only one who knows what it is, I know it's something
It's messed up. Something wrong.
No,
You disgusting.
but as we've discussed before, though,
What?
I don't know.
as we've bringing this back on topic, as we've discussed about this game before, though, like, no, it really does feel like they took the template of like maybe like Super Mario 3D World, and they were like, but now you're Kirby. And that was
Yeah.
literally all it took for everyone to be like, "You're a genius! You've done it again, Nintendo."
Hey,
How did you
Yeah.
do that?
with mouthful mode, and you can turn into
Yeah.
things like Kirby always can do.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It totally looks fun. Like I'm
So-
100% in favor of this game.
Yeah,
So-
it looks like a lot of fun. What?
Yeah,
Greg?
and I started playing. So I've had Hat in Time on Switch, and I've been like holding off on playing it, and just to kind of get me in the mode to go back and play like a cutesy platformer like this, because like I'm in love with the way it looks, and I'm sure I'm gonna like the way it plays. But just to kind of get me back in that mindset, I started playing that, and it just I don't know, it like really made me want to play this game even more, and kind of solidified my pre-order decision. But yeah, it is a pin set and it looks awesome.
Yeah.
It's good for you,
It's
man.
all because of the pin set. That's the only.
I'm
reason.
probably gonna buy a digital and never open the box, but
No.
whatever.
Spend $120.
Mind your
on
own
it, why
damn
not?
business.
Well, let me ask you. Oh no, go
I
ahead. Go ahead, Brett.
No, John, you
I
first.
thank you, good sir. I was just gonna say, well, if if we are not exploding with opinions about Kirby, maybe we should spin it. What is the closest approaching Switch game that you're actually pretty excited about?
I know that John's is Triangle Strategy.
That would be correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Triangle Strategy is so. For years, people have been begging for a new Final Fantasy Tactics, and even more of a pipe dream is a new Tactics Ogre. And this game is just like both of those things are rolled together. So like a bunch of nerds are like just elated that I think it comes out this Friday.
Yeah,
And so
really
like
soon.
it's gonna be yeah, so
Oh.
it's gonna be like moment of truth, like 20 years later, like can they do it? Like do they still have the magic? Can they pull it out again? And we're about to find out. Like that's extremely exciting to me.
Do you think that for brand recognition and because the actual name is stupid, do you think they should have just named it Final Fantasy Tactics?
I think Triangle Strategy is a beautiful piece of art as a name.
It really does.
What
give you that
does it
sense of
mean?
wonder.
I don't know. But like, well, the thing is, if you call it Final Fantasy Tactics, then that brings like a lot of like expectations.
Well, I mean,
And
that's good though, right?
to an extent, but also my personal feeling is I think Square believes that the Final Fantasy brand has kind of like evolved beyond that. Like if you look at Final Fantasy 16, it doesn't really it draws upon familiar tropes from the franchise, but otherwise like it doesn't look like any Final Fantasy that you know to date. It is Devil May Cry with like Final Fantasy sprinkled on top. And the
Yeah.
story might be awesome, but the point I'm making is that it doesn't feel like old Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy to Square is always something new.
Hmm.
Might not be good, but
Mm.
it's something new. And
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think they want to pull back time and be like, and here's Final Fantasy Tactics 2, you know, like looking like in that older style. Like
Hmm.
I think they just want to keep their brand IP separate. Um, that being said, the Nvidia leak did claim that a Final Fantasy Tactics remaster is coming, and it's
Hmm.
already been completely right about the Chrono Cross remaster.
And everything
So
else.
yeah, one by one, yeah. So no, and also with Triangle Strategy, it's it's if I had to guess, I would say it's almost completely different people making this game. The guy who made Final Fantasy Tactics and Tactics Ogre both, like I could be wrong, but I want to say he's not even with the company anymore. So
Oh,
like
dang.
if you say it's like new Final Fantasy Tactics or a new Tactics Ogre and the guy who is responsible for like the whole aesthetic like isn't there, then like, you know, like harder sell.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's everything though. Like
Yeah,
sooner or later, the creator moves on. Like they're still
yeah.
making Superman movies, you know,
That's true. And also
Yeah.
literally Final Fantasy, its creator hasn't been there in like
30
pushing
years.
20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, whatever. I'll be
So
there
John,
regardless.
you're most hyped for Triangle Strategy. I'd have to look at a list, but I honestly think my most anticipated Switch game right now, in terms of like upcoming soon, is Kirby. So
I would imagine, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, Mary, is there anything else that you can think of that you're hyped about?
Hmm. If I'm saying if, because I'm still not sure about it, if Breath of the Wild 2 comes out this year,
Yeah,
I'm I don't like to be negative about it not coming out this year, but now like Pokemon's coming out in late 2022, so I'm like, are they gonna push Breath of the Wild back to like early 2023? But fingers crossed. That
yeah. I'm hoping that Pokemon ends up being like December, which isn't that strange because a lot of games that used to come out in November are starting to
Mhm.
explore a little bit in terms of like earlier or later. So maybe Zelda's November during the Black Friday craziness.
Yeah, I hope
Hmm.
so.
Mary, how hype were you for Breath of the Wild 1?
I was very, very hyped. Like watching the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer for the first time, excuse me, I felt like that same like hype and excitement, like building, like, oh my gosh, like it's
That's
because
what I was
they
going to ask you.
yeah, they just feel so different from like the previous Zelda games, and they are very different. I think it's a good direction, like for the series to go in. Plus, I'm a huge Skyward Sword fan, and whenever I saw like Hyrule Castle rising out of the ground and what
Mhm.
appears to be Link floating through the sky, I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going back to the skies. Skyward Sword's one of my favorites, and then Skyward Sword HD came out, and like
All of a
I
sudden,
think
these
it's
Skyward Sword fans are just coming out of nowhere.
Okay.
Right?
You can't shame me anymore.
They're
Yeah.
coming out of the woodwork.
People have been putting me down for years for loving Skyward Sword.
It's not going to stop now. Skyward Sword sucks.
Skyward Sword is strange. I played through it recently because of the remaster. I played through the entire thing. And the first like third of the game, fantastic. And then like the last third, they make you do a bunch of random fetch quest stuff where you're just going and getting like notes to make a song or something like that. And that was just, I was just like, okay, this is just dumb. This is just boring. It just has me running around doing the same environments and stuff. Just move on to the end of the game. Like I feel like they could have cut that entire thing, made a shorter game and a more tight experience overall. But yeah. It's good. I don't hate it like a lot of people do.
Yeah.
John, did you ever play Skyward Sword?
I did, and what happened with it is like what happens to me like anytime I played a Zelda between like Ocarina of Breath of the Wild, where like I tried, I got bored, and I fell off.
Dang.
And, yeah, like
wait, between Ocarina
Hold on,
and
wait,
Breath
hold
of the
on.
Wild,
Yeah,
there's
I was like,
two
wait
games.
a second. So Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, Link Between Worlds.
Well,
yeah,
okay,
smaller
Link
one.
Between Worlds I finished because I
Okay.
love 2D Zelda typically. 3D Zelda, aside from Ocarina and Breath of the Wild, I get bored for some reason. I don't know. Like the
Well,
formula just can't keep my attention.
Hmm.
But it's funny though, that being said, when Breath of the Wild was announced and they keep putting out these trailers for it, like the whole time I was thinking to myself, oh, this is going to be the greatest game ever made. Even though I didn't care about any of the previous Zeldas. And then when this game finally came out, I played this game for a few hours and I was like, oh, this is the greatest game ever made. So, like, I don't know what magic happened, but like I'm completely on board for the sequel. Like I'm hyped to the moon. How couldn't I be? Yeah.
Yeah. I was like the exact opposite. I saw all the changes. I was like, this isn't Zelda to me anymore. This looks like crap. Not looks like the graphics look good. I was just like, this isn't like, what is Zelda about? This is what I was thinking. And then I played it and I still felt the exact same way. And then I stopped. But before you leave this podcast, I played it a year later and I was like, all right, I'm giving this a full chance because I feel like I was just being salty before. And then I was like, okay, I understand. This is great. I was playing it wrong in the first place. Like I wasn't playing it like how it should have been played. And then I ended up really liking it, and I'm super excited for the sequel because I've been tempted to go back and completely restart the first game because I had started and then stopped and then just picked up where I left off. But I'm just gonna wait for this one just so I'm really craving it by then, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I asked you, and thank God I have social media to keep a record for me. You said your hype level for Breath of the Wild 1 was a 6 out of 10.
I
6 out of 10.
Hey, I'm not lying.
You disgust me, man. Go to your room.
My favorite game of all time, like in top 3, I would say, is Ocarina of Time. Like it's
okay.
Out of like my 4 favorite games: Persona 4, Ocarina of Time, The Last of Us, and Resident Evil 4. I was like, what's my 4th one? The game I talk about every day almost. So yeah, Ocarina of Time's up there as like the GOAT for me. But ever since then, I feel like it's never quite been matched with the other games for me personally.
Right. Yeah, like I genuinely don't understand like why I'm on board with Ocarina of Time. I have no problem playing that start to finish. And then like after that, nothing. Like I don't know.
Which is funny because I'm almost the exact same, except I didn't finish
Really?
Link Between Worlds. Yeah, I never played Wind Waker.
What?
I played a good majority
Get
of Twilight
out.
Princess, and I played about halfway through Skyward Sword. But I absolutely loved Breath of the Wild and sunk like 300 and something hours into it.
Nice.
Yeah. Greg, why is your light flashing in the back?
I don't know. I think it's
just a home
warning sign.
invasion.
It's just a ghost.
I think
Just
it's
Miyamoto.
my sign dying. Miyamoto's Miyamoto's sending me a signal.
Like
I
one of
gotta
these
go, guys.
times when the light turns back on, like someone's gonna be standing right behind you, just wait
Oh no.
with a knife.
Well, that's one way to get up our viewership numbers.
Yeah, kill me on
Definitely,
stream. Let's do it.
Sacrifices must be made.
Definitely. All right, now that we are out of Zelda territory, let's get back into Zelda territory.
Segue.
They recently added Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask was recently added to Nintendo Switch Online. I checked it out, and I had just bought it and started it on Wii U, like right before they announced N64 games for Switch. So I played through the beginning for the second time recently, or recent-ish, and it's a great game. I just keep on playing the beginning over and over because I feel like I played the beginning like 3 years ago or something on a different platform, and it's a classic to me. But how do you guys feel about Majora's Mask? And have you checked it out on
I just
NSO
wanted
yet?
to point out that it's fitting that you keep playing the beginning of a game that's about looping the same 3 days over and over.
Exactly. I'm living the game. Like
There
it's,
you go,
it's my
man.
life.
You're breathing it. Well, I don't even have NSO. I'm like too cheap, and also I just don't play online. But I just bought the 3DS version of Majora's Mask off of eBay
Nice.
because
Nice.
it was because of NSO. It kind of reminded me like, oh yeah, like I should probably buy that game like before it disappears. So
Yeah,
I
before
took
it's
care of
super
that.
hard to find.
But Brett, you told me that this is the one case where the 3DS version is garbage.
Dude,
sure-
they made strange changes to the 3DS version, and it's a shame because the visual overhaul is fantastic. I love it
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
3DS.
I
But they
spent like
made
2 minutes on it, and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty."
yeah, and it even has the 3D, not 3D, the right thumbstick that you can use on the new Switch.
Right.
I mean, new 3DS.
New 3DS, yeah.
and it's a beautiful game on 3DS, but they made such strange changes, like the way even just the way Deku Link jumps. Like now he can't make some of the jumps that he used to be able to make. It's so
Oh,
weird.
really?
Yeah, like
Oh,
you have
that
to
is
find
weird.
like different ways to make it to spots that you could just originally make it to in the original game.
Oh,
And
well,
there's a bunch of
sucks.
other stuff like the
Is it
boss
like the
fights they made
animation
worse.
or the physics of it?
The actual physics are different, like the mechanics. Like it's usually like boom,
Huh.
boom, 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 but he does like smaller jumps now or something like that.
Yeah.
How
And then the
weird.
boss fights, they made them really different. Like a lot of them much worse.
Really?
And a lot of them are totally different, which is strange.
Mhm.
Oh, wow. Maybe I'll
It's
just have to like.
unfortunate because like the game is stunning on 3DS, and if I'm gonna play the game, I would want to play like the better looking version. But like now you really have to decide: do I want this or this? It's kind of like the Persona 3 situation on PS2 or 3. Or the PSP version that has like the extra stuff, so you can use everyone on the battlefield and stuff. You know?
Yeah. Maybe I'll have to dig out the Nintendo 64 someday because I do have Majora's Mask. I just didn't bother playing it like to the end.
Or you
'Cause I
can just
hate time limits.
subscribe to Nintendo Switch Online.
Yeah.
Are
Let's
you
not be
playing
hate-
on the OG 3DS or the 3DS XL?
I have
Or
the new
new
3DS
New
XL.
3DS.
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been looking for one of those. They're really hard to find now. I wish I got
Really?
one back in the
That
day.
is so weird.
I have the Majora's Mask edition, and it's
I do too.
so pretty.
Oh, nice.
Greg,
Yeah.
give me that. Greg, give me it.
Okay, you can have it.
That was easy.
Take it off my hands.
You did give me your Game Boy Micro for literally no reason, and I still look at it every day and just think, wow, Greg's a good friend.
Yeah,
Aw.
sometimes I look at the empty spot on my shelf and I'm like, I can't believe I gave that to Brett. Like, why did I do that?
What was I thinking?
He didn't deserve it. He didn't deserve it at all. 6 out of 10. Get out of here.
But yeah, I jumped in. I played a little bit of it. It's funny that they still have it running like at the same frame rate as the old game. So it's pretty jarring now. Like after you're playing these brand new games at like 60 FPS, and then you go play a Nintendo 64 game, it's running at like 20.
Yeah.
And I think it really did run at like 20, like on N64. But
That's probably the thing that bothers me most about going back and playing 64 games is like the draw distance is awful. And just the slow frame rate for a lot of games. Like, I mean, even like Banjo Kazooie is just terrible. Donkey Kong is another one that's awful.
yeah,
like
I
the
just looked it
slowdowns
up.
get me.
The original N64 version and probably the version on Switch still, it looks the exact same. Runs at 20 FPS locked.
Jeez.
Wait.
It's pretty strange. Like, why couldn't they just make it 30? Like the 3DS version is 30, I'm pretty sure.
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's not that big a deal. You still get that nostalgic feel with a game that looks like it's chugging.
Right?
All right,
Looks like
sorry
it's
about my
about to
dog
die.
barking in the background. But now let's talk a little bit about the accessibility debate. I know this isn't necessarily Nintendo related, but it's one big thing that's been going around with Elden Ring coming out. The developer have stood their ground saying it's in our DNA to just make hard games, and he wants people to fight through the hardness and just win because that's the experience. If you take that away, it's not the experience that they want. But
Mhm.
some people on the other side, they're like, no, we should make games more accessible. And then there's the whole argument over accessibility is not the same thing as difficulty, but it kind of is, in my
Hmm.
opinion. I don't know what you guys think. So yeah, Greg, first thoughts on this? How do you feel about it all?
Honestly, I'm a little turned off by those comments because I do feel that, to a certain degree, you have to make some sacrifices, whether that's in gameplay difficulty, to kind of reach the modern audience of gamers, because the modern audience of gamers aren't gamers that sit on a couch with their controller. I mean, you're talking about all different walks of life that are playing on the go, sitting down. They could be playing cloud-based version. They could be playing using, different types of controllers other than just a controller. And so to not, you know, provide that platform for different types of users to enjoy your game, I think I'm a little turned off by that. Just from a developer standpoint, them saying like, well, it's this way and that's it. Because there are games, even for me, that I'll choose the simple, and which I see more often now, than before. Um, as I have aged through games and played, so many different ones, that like they do have, choose this option to play just the story elements and get the story elements of the game in the simplified version. And then play this if you want the standard difficulty. And then play this if you're John Frisha and you want to get punished. And,
That's
like
just
there's choke me. But like, I have a hard time, really giving From Software a pass for a comment like that. But and I don't like the arguments that surround the difficulty. So I don't know. There's got to be some middle ground between the two, and if they're not going to even, you know, they're just going to stand their position and not make any changes down the road or even offer that in some form, then I mean that's kind of whack.
Yeah, I got three things, and I'm gonna pass it to Mary. Number one, give me a pause function. Let me pause the game. That's all I need is a pause function. I don't know how people play these games without pausing. Like, it just doesn't make sense. But anyway, I will say I'm sort of with them on this because when you think about it, I'm a race. Or let's say I'm not really a racing game fan, and I play Gran Turismo, and it's really hard, and I'm like, guys, make this feel like Mario Kart. I want to be able to play. So make it easier so I can play the game. There's no way like that would ever happen, and that they would even think about doing that because that's not what the game is. This is what these games are. Like it's exactly what they're meant to be. So a part of me is like, oh man, like just keep doing what you want. They're also sort of walking away from a lot of money. I think if they had an easy mode, a lot more people would buy the game. Sorry, my dog's going nuts. Um,
Well, he
Mary, what do you
agrees.
think?
I'm it is one of those like kind of like hard topics to like talk about because like I understand them wanting to like create like a nice challenging experience to like keep people interested, keep people challenged, keep them like wanting to like level and find new ways of like achieving obstacles. But yeah, at the same time, why is having a why is okay, hold on,
Nintendogs.
how do I like how do I phrase this? Like why is having an easy mode treated like a bad thing? Like what like
Right.
there's so much negativity around like, oh, you want to take the easy way. Oh, you want to play story mode where there's less combat. It's like, so that's how you want to experience the game, go for it. And I
Right.
think
Yeah.
like Last of Us Part 2, I think had a really customizable difficulty where you could be like, oh, like I just want to be able to find more ammo. Like I just want to be able to
Hmm.
find more stuff. Like I don't mind having like people coming at me, all this combat. I don't mind that. I just want to be able to craft stuff. Um, so having a customizable experience isn't a bad thing. I just don't know why. Yeah, some developers are very like, this is the way. We're not moving from it.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like I was saying, I think they really walked away from more money when they do this.
Hmm.
And I'm not saying they need the Last of Us 2 options because their
Yeah.
accessibility stuff is insane and that takes a lot of resources and
Mhm.
all that.
Hmm.
But maybe just make it an easier mode where the health bar is double the size, and that's the only difference. That's
Yeah.
it. Everything
Yeah.
else is the exact same. Health
Yeah.
bar double the size. Then maybe
Or
more people will
like,
be willing to hop in.
Or like an option that says like enemies do 5% less damage. Like, is that going to kill you to
yeah.
have players get 5% less damage when playing a boss?
Yeah. And I think like Metroid Dread, like enemies do less damage to you and you recover more health whenever you get health. Like that's a
Yeah.
pretty like quick fix for like a rookie mode, you know. It's like, okay, I'm not
Mhm.
gonna get hit as hard and I recover a lot
Mm.
easier. That could help a lot of people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with Metroid Dread, I was like, I'm glad that they added the easier difficulty later on because I played how it was, meant to be played, and
Hmm.
I would have probably put it on easy if I had an option. But I'm glad that I stuck with it and kept trying, and I just ended up like
Hmm.
actually beating all the bosses, and they were actually really hard for me. I don't know about you guys, but so yeah,
Some of them were challenging. Yeah.
so in that way, I sort of understand what From Software means. Like they want people to play the actual vision of the game, but I don't know. It's just a mess. Like there's really no right or wrong answer. But John, you've been quiet, so what do you think?
So I feel like there are like somewhere between like 2 and 4 like totally different ways to look at this, like different perspectives. The one is there's the internet saying, there needs to be like you have to play on this difficulty or else you're a loser and you suck and why are you even playing this game? You don't get it at all. So obviously those people are wrong and stupid. Um,
Mhm.
so that perspective is messed up. Then on the From Software side, it's their art. And when it's your piece of art, it's your ownership. You can do whatever you want with it, period, end of story. So if they don't ever want to offer any difficulty options, if they don't want to offer any accessibility options for disabled people to have an easier time playing it, like that's their prerogative, I feel. And
Yeah,
it's and at the same time, as you said, Brett, then by association, then it's their prerogative, but then it's also their responsibility to handle the fallout, meaning fewer
True.
sales because less people have incentive to buy it. So that's their artistic choice and that's their financial repercussion, so to speak. Um, and then, of course, one more way to look at it then is, as Mary said, yeah, it's actually not that hard to throw in an easy mode if you really want to. Like, yeah, like
yeah. Like you don't
cut
have
the
to
damage in
rebuild the whole
half.
game. Yeah,
Yeah, like cut the damage in half, or like maybe don't lose all your souls or whatever the equivalent is in this
Mhm.
game, or like maybe lose half your souls, something like that. Like a game like this, there's like a lot of easy ways that you could incorporate an easy mode. And
hmm
again, it's their decision, but like I have to imagine this is something that could be coded into the game in like a day.
Yeah.
yeah. It's probably like the flip of a switch to make health more, or to make
Yeah,
hits do double the
Yeah.
damage.
right.
I mean,
Because
I'm not saying it's literally that easy,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
like think about it. Like if somebody doesn't have complete, full control of their motor skills, or they have
Mhm.
limited use of their right arm, and they can't exactly hold a controller correctly. I mean, that 5% is a big deal. That's a big
Mhm.
deal to
Mhm.
somebody that can't reach the button to roll right away or to strike right away. And that's going to get them from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. So like, make some decisions to speak to the wider gaming audience, especially as, Souls-like games become more popular. And to your point, Brett, if somebody wants to play a racer, look how many racers are out there. You've got Mario Kart, Forza, what's the one with
Gran
all the
Turismo.
crazy tracks? Gran
Oh,
Turismo, uh,
Trackmania,
Trackmania.
Hot Wheels.
But
Mhm.
but how many Souls-like games are out there that really exist, and especially from software games? I mean, they all have generally the same difficulty.
Yeah, it's like really challenging.
Mm.
um,
Yeah.
no matter what. Yeah, like I just can't help but feel like if they, so let's say they came out with a new game and they're like, yes, we still have the full hardcore experience for everyone, but this time we are going to open it up. We're going to allow people to put it on easy. We're going to let people adjust the play style how they want. Like how Mary was saying,
Mhm.
like the options that they added in the last of us. Like, what if they just fully leaned into it? I really don't think they would get, like, they wouldn't lose any sales. The fans, like the hardcore fans, they would probably be angry for like a day and then they would stop caring. And then like they would, like, who cares how other people are playing the game? You still have your hardcore option. So I
Yeah.
just feel like they're really missing a huge wad of cash from not doing it. But it, like John said, it's their art, and I'm not really mad at them. And at the end of the day, it just doesn't really like they shouldn't be forced to change their art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the accessibility debate. Now,
Honestly,
Greg.
I'm just happy those kind of conversations are like coming up though, that people are like thinking about it more. So
Yes,
yeah.
yeah, definitely. And I'm sure we'll probably talk about that a lot more because I think more developers are starting to like add this kind of stuff in their games, like to make things
Mm.
easier and more
Yeah.
accessible, like to people who don't even have all their limbs and stuff. You know, like they're doing that kind of awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
And also, when it comes to game difficulty, like it's funny to think, like, I mean, for decades, like game difficulty, yeah, like at least half of it was intentional, but then there was like another half of difficulty that just stemmed from like wonky, buggy design or
Mhm.
like purposely trying to like screw you out of your quarters at the arcades. So like in Street
Yeah.
Fighter and Mortal Kombat, like the third guy is suddenly like 7 times harder than the one before that. Like the idea of like games difficulty like being there like purely for like enjoyment and the idea of like conquering it and like that's where the fun comes from, like that's like a somewhat new idea in the grand scheme of video games.
well, what about all those retro games that were impossible?
Well, that's what I mean, like Battletoads, like the third
Oh
level of
my god.
Battletoads, like nobody ever passed that bike stage.
Dude,
Like
I speaking of that game, randomly, I was playing that on Xbox One, and they even had like the rewind function where you can just like rewind it and try again
Mhm.
instantly. And
yeah,
that level was still hard when
yeah,
I was able
right.
to rewind it and keep trying over and over the same
Yeah,
spot.
yeah, I did that once on Xbox One and it took me several minutes to beat that level, even rewinding constantly.
Over and over.
But
It's hilarious.
yeah, but like, but no, yeah, you're right. Like, I don't want to discount. Like, there were like classically hard games that were like awesome, like Ninja Gaiden and Castlevania. But like, even Castlevania was BS. It had those Medusa heads that would just spawn randomly and like knock you into pits to your death. So like,
Yeah.
we've been dealing with cheapness for a very long time.
You know
Yeah.
what game I find super difficult?
uh,
Well,
The Super Ghosts and Goblins. That
oh,
game is
forget that. Oh,
hard.
I never
I
played it.
like I can't get past like literally like the first 3 minutes of that game.
Yeah. It's like the soundtrack and like the I don't know, the aesthetic of it is like more memorable than the actual gameplay is.
Yeah. Well, that's because you never got to level 2.
Yeah, just started over again, put in more quarters.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah, I was talking to Mary about this one time whenever we were shooting. I was like, I wonder how many games I started as a kid and never beat. I feel like it's probably like 95% of the games I played,
Yeah.
or more, like 99% of the games I played. And I have like these amazing memories, but it's probably like the first 3 levels of the game.
Just the
Yeah.
same level over and over.
Yeah, or like the demo disc.
I love the
Right.
demo disc.
Yeah, my
On
only
PlayStation.
experience with Final Fantasy VII until I was an adult was the demo disc that came in the mail with
Yep.
some type of magazine or something.
Official PlayStation magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Now, what are you guys playing? Great. Actually, I'll throw it to Mary first.
Yeah.
So
Hey.
I am playing Horizon Forbidden West. Not too far into it, but I'm determined to like sit down this weekend and like really sink some hours into it. Keep getting distracted with side quests. And then I'm also playing Fire Emblem Path of Radiance for the first time.
That's the Wii one.
Nice.
That one's on GameCube.
GameCube. Okay.
Yeah, and it's been an experience going from like Awakening and Three Houses, which are very like modern, more new to Fire Emblem like friendly games, and then Path of Radiance is like no casual mode, no chill. Like, it's an entirely different experience, but it's so much fun.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't know the name, because that's actually the only other Fire Emblem game I've played aside from Sacred something
Stones.
Sacred
yeah,
Stones.
yes.
Yeah.
I played the GBA one, Sacred Stones, Path of Radiance, and then Three Houses. And yeah, the older one's just so dang hard. Like,
Yeah.
because I mean, you think everything's going fine, and then all of a sudden everyone's dead, and then they're
Oh, yeah.
literally dead. Like, you can't
Yeah.
do anything. So you just
Yeah,
gotta
I'm-
start the game over.
I
There's
made it
permanent.
the yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Oh,
yeah, they
God.
die. Like, yeah. So I made it to the end of the map, final boss last night of like this chapter. Got a crit on one of my best characters, one shot, and I just like dropped my controller and I had to reset. I was like, I can't lose this character. So I had to reset my entire game and
Jeez,
start
yeah.
all over. And I was like, all right.
See, that's one thing. Like,
No
I
crits
would
this
hope that
time.
they would bring those games back, because speaking of starting games and never finish them, that's one of the games I played as a kid that I liked, that I never beat. I would love to play that again, but maybe with a little more accessibility options.
Oh, get out of here.
Casual
Bringing it back.
mode. Give us casual.
So much fun in the
Just-
first level.
Just no permadeath. How about that? And then
Yeah.
I'm good. John, what are you playing?
Well, I finally finished Yakuza Kiwami 2,
Hey.
so
Finally
I've
done
been
with
like marathoning the Yakuza games. I started with Like a Dragon, then went to 0, then 1, then 2. 3 will be coming in a while. First, I'll be playing Triangle Strategy and some other stuff, but I'm also playing a little bit of Horizon Forbidden West right now. I am also not far at all. Like, I think I'm about to actually reach the Forbidden West. I don't think I've actually gotten to the Forbidden West yet. I'm at like that big gate right beforehand, and I need to like make everyone have a conference or something, and then I get to the West.
That's where I was.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
just got past like that part.
Okay. Yeah. So
Nice.
I
Are
was
you
saying
liking
to
it
the
now?
guys, no, but I
John
was
the Optimist.
I was saying to the guys last week, like I'm expecting it to get really good. It's just that so far, like it's just everything's looked and felt like the original game over again. And so
Yeah.
like I really really liked the original. Like in my head, I give it a 9 out of 10. It's just that like I don't want to do that exact same thing again. So like I'm getting really fatigued waiting for the new stuff to happen. So like
Yeah.
I'm still optimistic that I'm gonna like it. I just haven't gotten there yet. I'm like skipping through lots of dialogue. Some of
Oh,
it
wow.
like yeah, some of it important, but whatever. But
See,
just
in
waiting for the good stuff.
in the back of my mind, that's my fear of Breath of the Wild too.
Oh
Is it
really?
like, yeah,
You're
it's
gonna-
gonna
that you're
it's
gonna-
gonna have that
The
same feel.
like the same exact thing as Breath of the Wild, basically.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, like, I loved Breath of the Wild though so much. So if they just did that again, I'd be like, Nintendo, you genius, you did it again. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think Nintendo would probably get the pass for that, but I remember Fallout 4, and it did review really well, but in terms of the fans, I remember like a lot of people were like, it's just Fallout 3 again. But and then like
Yeah.
Bethesda's probably thinking, but that's what you said you wanted.
Yeah.
And then but like it didn't really hit the mark with a lot of people because of that. But yeah, when Nintendo does it, it's probably gonna be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they already look like they're introducing a lot of stuff in Breath of the Wild 2 that's gonna make it way different. Like that stuff that we're seeing on screen right now.
Mhm.
The like
Right, right,
rewind
right.
stuff and like going through walls, like so much
Yeah.
potential for puzzles and whatnot.
I wonder if it'll
And-
be the kind of game that you don't have to play one to enjoy two.
Probably.
I would hope so. And as we've discussed before, like again, like allegedly, like the reason why we don't have a title for this game is because Nintendo's afraid it might give spoilers for the gameplay.
They're never
like-
gonna tell us until it's out.
On launch day, like BT Dubs, here's the name, buy it.
It's
Yeah.
called the Legend. It's called the Legend of Zelda. Zelda's demise.
Dang.
God.
But
Massive
because
spoiler.
of that though, like I just keep feeling like there's gonna be like some crazy big plot element that we just haven't seen yet. Like that's my
Mhm.
conspiracy theory there, or at least my hope.
Yeah, I said this on a previous episode of the show on a different channel. I think that they might be doing like a time jump thing where like maybe we're gonna see some futuristic elements in Zelda for the first time, like some high tech stuff that like sort of like that's what's in Forbidden West, like those sections where you get and there's like a lab and everything looks all futuristic. I think we might see
Mm.
stuff like that in this Zelda, and they're just keeping it close to their chest.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we'll see future stuff. I think we'll see time heist stuff.
Time heist. That'd be
Time
cool.
heist.
Yeah.
Time heists are
Alright.
cool ever since Endgame.
Yeah, time heist.
Ever since
Great.
Endgame, what about Inception?
Oh, I forgot about that one. Yeah, that
Oh,
was pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Greg, what
But-
are you playing? Or John, were you still going?
No, it's cool.
Take a guess.
I'm gonna guess you are playing the Apex Legends.
Yes, I am. Actually, I went on vacation this last week and I was just fiending to play Apex Legends. And, obviously I didn't have my PC with me, but I had my Switch with me. So I jumped into Apex Legends on Switch. And God, let me tell you, this game still sucks on Switch. It is still awful. And
Spot Dodge, a Nintendo podcast.
I still have questions as to why they released it on that platform, and it bears no resemblance to the competitive nature that it has on the Xbox or any
These
other
are all
platform. that
quotes
it's
to
on.
put on the box. There is no resemblance to the original.
Yeah, it's just clunky, and it's probably I would guess it's about 25 FPS, about that range, if not lower.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
Still the Majora's
yeah.
Mask, 25 FPS.
Yeah.
Nice.
But one game I did start though. I started Earthbound, and
Oh, all right.
Nice.
surprisingly, I am really liking it, and have put
Awesome.
in probably like a good 2 hours. It was hard to gauge. I was playing in the car some, and then laying on the couch while the ocean waves crashed outside. Take me back. But,
Greg, snap.
oh, sorry.
Snap out of it.
But yeah, I it's not the RPG I thought it was. Absolutely not. Like I thought it was very like I don't know, traditional or JRPG type,
Mm.
but like I can see where games like
Undertale.
Undertale take elements from it, and like even with like like the first, what was it, like the hippie, the like new age hippie,
Retro new age hippie.
yeah, retro new age hippies attacking. Oh, he's tame now. But like the like the music that goes along with it, I was like, wow, that's really different, and I would not have placed it in the 90s. But I feel like I am kind of missing something without playing beginnings first. But overall, I mean, I feel like I'm really starting to enjoy it and find my way around and make some good progress on the game. And I'm intrigued to see what the future holds for it. Different characters and stuff. So
Well, I'm great
Awesome.
that I'm really glad that you're enjoying it because yeah, by as you were saying, by the 90s standards, the localization of Earthbound was like unreal, next level good. Like
mhm,
there was a good amount of RPGs on Super Nintendo. They didn't all have good translations. And
yeah,
Earthbound has like a top tier translation. There are so
Mhm.
many jokes that you actually laugh at. It is
yeah,
so well written in the first place, and then it was so well translated on top of that. Even dealing with like the memory restrictions on SNES, where like they'd constantly have to like truncate scripts because it literally couldn't fit all the English. They
mm.
they did the technical wizardry to just get it all in there. Like it's crazy how good that game is, and it sucks that nobody bought it.
Do
the
you guys ever
one the
think-
one thing.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you guys ever think they'll make a new one?
No.
No.
No,
Oh.
yeah.
Like
No,
a
the
lower
creator
budget? Come
Like
on.
a once in a lifetime.
the creator outright said he was done after 3, and like the famous quote is that he said he wants to see someone else make a 4th one. So like
There
Mm.
you go.
like yeah. Well,
not impossible.
that's why there's been 2 separate fan projects to make a Mother 4, because he was
Mm.
like, just let the fans do it. And so the one, it rebranded as I think it's Oddity, I think it's called.
Mm.
There's like
Hmm.
there's like 4 of these things really. But and they were saying that like they weren't going to charge for it, but after this rebrand and all they've done, like they need to charge for that game. Like it looks too good now to just be like, here's our free Mother fan game. Like, nah, you got to charge for that. And
Yeah.
then there's another game now that's calling itself Mother 4 that like also looks like a Mother 3 clone. It's like, I don't know. We'll see.
The
But-
one issue I have with the game though is like I know it was the 90s, but like like he'll say something like what like one of the police officers was like, "Oh yeah, did you hear me, Chubbs?" And then in another part he calls him like fat boy or something like that. And I was like as the
Can't
heavy
make
kid
those
in my
jokes
class.
anymore.
Yeah. Like I don't know if I would have enjoyed this as a kid.
Uh,
You would cried and threw your system.
It like no, but like honestly, like I was a little caught off guard of like I don't like saying those jokes anyways, like fat jokes or unless it's about myself. But like I heard that and I was just like, what? Why is this in here? It's like they couldn't have like taken that out in the Switch version.
No, don't alter the art.
no
Dude.
censorship, Greg.
Please, Greg, don't ever say that. Actually, you know what? Leave.
You know what? Fuck.
Leon Kennedy should be allowed to flirt in Resident Evil 4 VR, but they took it all out. Anyway.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they
He's
took it
beautiful.
all out. I can't believe
I
it.
love him.
It's
I
like
want
a
his
part of
hair.
his character. It's funny. But anyway,
That boy has a dump truck for days. Let me tell you.
who are you talking about?
Leon, man.
Okay, at first they're talking about Ness.
Have you ever seen him
I was like,
Roundhouse
what?
Kit?
Yeah,
Pause
yeah,
it on
yeah,
that
you're right.
screen.
Anyway, I've also been playing Horizon Forbidden West. I was not really liking the games at in the first 5 hours, which is so surprising because Horizon Zero Dawn's like one of my favorite games ever, to be honest. And I was just like, man, the sense of mystery is gone. I know this world already. The story's not really pulling me in. I'm just doing stupid stuff that's not important. But then when you enter this vault-like setting, I won't spoil anything, something happens where I'm like, oh, okay, this is actually really cool. This is cool. There's another character that's cool. Actually, there's a bunch of new characters that are a mystery for me right now, but I think that they're really interesting right now. And then right after that scene, another interesting thing happens. And I was like, okay, yeah, they're like building some character stuff out. So
Okay.
I'm liking it a lot more. I only played like an hour after that, and then I had to stop, and I haven't been able to play in like 2 days because I've just been working so much. But I'm excited to get back to it, and I think it might end up being like really great. But John, you said you weren't really digging it, and you're past me, so that kind of scares me a little bit.
Wait, no, I couldn't possibly be past you.
I don't think I'm in the Forbidden West yet.
Well, I'm not either.
Well, then we're probably in a similar spot.
I don't think I've.
Maybe I am in the. I honestly don't know if I'm in the Forbidden West.
Well, that's a good
Well,
sign.
there's
for the
your
writing
problem.
team.
Yeah.
Where am I?
Honestly, though, I have been playing this game a bit different than like I would typically play because my sister's been here a lot, my kids have been off school a lot, so I've been playing when there's a lot of craziness going on, and I've been like reading subtitles instead of having audio sometimes. So I am a little bit lost on the story stuff, but there's some stuff that I've liked so far that I didn't expect.
Cool.
But anyway,
Yeah,
aside from that,
I don't think I've been to a vault yet. I don't think so.
oh, okay, then maybe you are
So-
behind me. Then John, it gets better. Trust me.
Mary's just like, you guys are.
I know.
dumb."
I know. I'm trying to think. I'm like,
You weren't okay.
a vault?
Have you ever been in a spot where only Aloy's DNA could open up a vault? Because she can open up a bunch of doors because she's what's her face?
I don't think
Elizabeth.
so because no, I think I've only seen her like at the
No.
beginning of the game in that tutorial area opening it.
Yeah.
Okay, then I guess you guys haven't reached where I'm at, but I swear I'm
Yeah.
still really early. Like you guys must be right there.
Yeah.
Possibly.
But I didn't do that much side stuff, so you guys probably spent more time doing that.
That's all I've been doing, picking up rocks and plants.
That's how I was playing it at first, and I'm like, what am I doing? This isn't fun.
Oh, that is one point of praise though, that like now stuff just gets sent straight to your stash now.
Yeah,
That I like.
Exactly. I get to save
Yeah.
it for later because what if I
Yeah.
need it?
Yeah, exactly.
Every
Yeah,
game
so-
should do that.
Yeah, for real. Just contrive it. Yeah.
And then aside from that, I've been playing through for my Gavin bedtime game because we always have a new game where I'm watching and he watches until he falls asleep. Is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, playing it for the first time on Wii U because that's what he has in his room. and he has a Switch in there, but he likes the Wii U more, surprisingly. But I got the game on Wii U a long time ago, but I could never install actually my small one. It was 500 GB. So then I accidentally bought another 1 TB one. So now my
You don't
Wii
need to
U
worry
has a
about the
freaking
eShop going
terabyte
away. You
size
can
hard
just fit
drive
the
in it.
entire
I do
thing
not
on
need
there.
that at all. Yeah, I'll just move the entire eShop. So yeah, for their birthday actually, which is now Gavin's yesterday, Cole's is in a few days.
Nice.
They're just getting a bunch of eShop cards. I'm gonna buy a bunch of games that are gonna be leaving soon because Gavin is obsessed with his Wii U, and then he's been playing Donkey Kong, so that's why I started it because I installed it. He started it, and I was like, man, I never played this. I need to play this, and I just beat the second world, and it's a
I've heard
really
it's like
challenging
brilliant.
platformer,
I've just
but
never
super
gotten
fun.
around to playing it.
Yeah, it is. It's like top of the line platforming in terms of challenge and like precise like movement and everything. Like the boss fights are so hard. They're like freaking Souls boss fights. Like they're just
Brutal.
like a rhythm game.
So
Yeah,
you're saying you need accessibility options for it, is what you're saying. That's what I'm. That's
If
what
there
I'm
was an easier
hearing
mode,
right now.
well, actually, they did add an easier mode to the Switch version, so they're hearing people.
There you go.
But I'm playing on Wii U, so it's still hard as hell. And Donkey Kong looks different in the Wii U version for some reason.
What?
Oh,
They,
really?
they changed him in the Switch version to look more like his real look. You
His
can look it
real
up.
look?
His
So
real
like
look?
there's an
Yeah, I'm
actual
like,
Donkey Kong chilling in like where, Washington? Or
No, like let me look up Donkey Kong
Where would Donkey
Wii
Kong
U
live?
versus Switch. He just looks different for some reason. I don't know why, but they
I was
altered
gonna
his
say you
look.
guys kind of look alike.
I don't know. Maybe I'm going crazy. They like changed his eyes or something, or his fur. I don't remember. But anyway, this has been Spot Dodge, a live Nintendo podcast.
That's how you. I don't know. It's his eyes or his fur. Anyways.
anyway.
So we're gonna go ahead and close out the show. Oh, look, there's Destructoid in this trailer. Our name.
Hey.
how about that?
Anyway, Greg, if people want to know where to find you, where you're streaming stuff or writing things, where can they go?
You can find me over on PC Invasion or all of my socials at dynamite_giraffe. And I think the only one is Twitter that's different. You can see it under my name here. But I was streaming Horizon Zero Dawn every Monday on PC. Monday nights at 9:30. I don't know if I'm going to continue with that, but if I don't, then you can see me play Apex Legends, the game that I'm obsessed with there. But yeah,
Every
on
day.
TikTok, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, all at dynamite_giraffe.
Boom. There we go. Mary, what are you up to?
Streaming Fire Emblem Path of Radiance on my Twitch channel, which is Mary Wants a Cookie. On Twitter, Mary Want a Cookie, because they have a really weird character limit. Thank you,
Yeah.
Twitter. And then you
Screwed
can
us a lot
find
of
me, yeah. Then you can find me 3 days a week on the Destructoid Show on Snapchat.
Yes, and also our TikTok. We've been uploading
Yes.
some of our show there,
Mm-hmm.
and some original content there as well that we're also going to start putting out.
Yeah.
John, where can people go to find you?
You can catch me in the ring at WWE SmackDown. I am finishing Batista off.
Finishing that. Never mind.
There's no
Okay.
escaping me. No.
Batista's an actor now. He's not in the ring, right?
He could be if he wants to.
I don't remember if he ever comes back nowadays.
The Frisha Freeze, it's like the Stone Cold Stunner. Please do it.
The Frisha Freeze.
I will work on that. You can catch me at my handle on I think it's there on the screen. Yeah, that looks
Audio
right.
listeners, John.
There you go. Fine. At John Friscia on Twitter, JOHNFRISCIA. And I'm also making a game with my brother called Boss Saga. That's got a website called boss-saga.com. Check it out. Just put up a new blog post today. It's exciting to me, at least.
Hey,
You never send these things to me.
or me.
I always tell you, I want the updates on the game. I can't wait to write a side quest in it. I'm just kidding.
I
Bash its
published it in a
visuals.
hurry, like right before this podcast started. So now you know where I was.
Oh, yeah. All right, and I am Brett Medlock. You can find my content over on the Destructoid Snapchat as well with Mary, our brand new show, the Destructoid Show. And I think you can like scan that and it'll pop up on your phone or something. I don't remember the thing that Eric's showing on the screen right now. But yeah, it's really fun. It's I think it's very unique, especially for Snapchat. I can almost confidently say it's the best show on Snapchat, and I'm not even joking. Snapchat, it is literally the best show there.
An
And of
unbiased
course,
opinion.
definitely unbiased. And of course, this podcast is going to be coming at you every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Central Time, and
Or 7 p.m.
or 7 p.m. If you're in New York or around that area of the world. And there's something else I wanted to plug, and now I'm forgetting. But oh yeah, go follow the show on the Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It's on there. You can search for us, or you can find the link in the article version. I mean, yeah, the article over on Destructoid all about the show. It's on the homepage right now. And that's it.
You guys.